Well, the National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union protested in defense of collective bargaining as well today. This formed part of the Nehawu National Day of Action. Joining me now for more on this is Nehawu's President, Mzwandile Makwayiba. Thanks for your time, sir. We appreciate it. So you were also out on the streets today talking about collective bargaining as well as permanent workers and increased wages. You have several concerns that you want our government to address.
Not only collective bargaining, but the constitution of collective bargaining. Remember, collective bargaining is part and parcel an agreement that we reached before 1994 breakthrough. When the interim government took place and took over from the Nationalist Party before the 1994 breakthrough, collective bargaining was one of the key issues at the center of the negotiation and at the center of drafting the Labour Legislation Act that today governs the relationships between the employer and the employees. And collective bargaining was seen as something that makes a level play field between worker and an employee as far as power play is concerned. If this is taken away today by the democratic government, by the government of the African National Congress, it means that workers will not have anything to take or to use in order to improve their condition of employment and the salary, of course. So therefore, we think that we're dealing with a huge fundamental issue that affecting the workers in South Africa and in the African continent. And as a union, we think that it's not enough to rely on judicial system of South Africa and judicial system that, of course, is a spinal boycott of a ruling class. A ruling class is a spinal boycott of capitalist class. Therefore, it is important to go outside and communicate with the community and communicate to the working class at large to say, if you don't fight and if you don't defend collective bargaining, you are not going to be able to improve your life. Already, workers in the public service have lost pension in 2020 on the 1st of April when this agreement must be implemented. And as we speak, with the current agreement that is signed, workers have lost pension as well. And we're continuously getting poorer and poorer and poorer. And unfortunately, this poor that working class is experiencing in South Africa, it comes from the government that we have assisted to attain the power.
Yeah. So what is your next move? Because you're already gone to court over the public sector wage agreement that was reached by some unions and government. Are you trying to speak to government officials at all about your other concerns, or are you going straight to the courts with this matter?
We are waiting for the outcome of the court as far as Resolution 1 of 2018, which is a third one of the agreement that have been running for a period of 3 years. This agreement that is now being declared by court as an invalid agreement, which we are in the Constitutional Court in an attempt to change that, is the agreement that 2 legs of it is already been implemented. Only with our surprise to find out that on the last leg of the agreement, we are told that the agreement is invalid. We're going to court. We will wait for the outcome of court. Once the outcome of court comes, and we don't think miracles are going to happen, once the outcome of court comes, we will then we'll have no choice but to mobilize amongst ourselves, to mobilize workers not only in public sector, but in all industry, and go all out to fight a struggle that must bring back the collective bargaining. into the fold of South African Legislation Act, and make sure that we leave no stone unturned as far as making sure that that renewed struggle is a struggle that must, at the end of the day, be victorious, and for us to make sure that we win the struggle in favor of collective bargaining.
Yeah, but what happens if the Constitutional Court does not rule in your favor? How does that affect your fight?
The Constitutional Court is a situation that we've been forced to go to as one of the short-term strategy is how best can we struggle. And I'm saying to you, if the Constitutional Court comes not in our favor, if the Constitutional Court put a final name into the collective bargaining system in South Africa, we will be left with no choice. We will have to go back and mobilize workers all over in this country, mobilize workers in all industry, not only in the public sector, and make sure that the struggle for collective bargaining is renewed. This means we'll have to do things out of Section 77, for instance, that we must have a prolonged struggle in order to bring back the collective bargaining onto the table. One of the things that we would have to consider, we'll have to consider a proposal of new legislation that must go to NODLEC so that when the struggle ensued, it takes place on the basis in which we must negotiate on in order to make sure that we bring back collective bargaining.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for your time, sir. We appreciate it. Nehawu's President Mzwandile Makwayiba.